Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the Unlimited Q&A series. Just wanted to say that for the time being, these Q&As will be taking place every Friday on this channel. Like I said, at least for the time being. So what's going to happen is every Wednesday or Thursday, I'll put up the post that asks for your questions. You can find the post and you can respond with your questions. You can go to the Facebook page, the Facebook group page, the Twitter page, or you can even leave a comment down below, comment to this video. Whatever works for you, that's how you send in questions here. Like I said, every Friday, you're going to get an unlimited Q&A, whether it's themed or it isn't. So there we go. Let's dive right into this Q&A. Francesco Bruno, do you think the Blue Jays will win the World Series in the next 5 years? No. No, anyone who thinks that clearly doesn't know what they're talking about. Oh, God. In order for that to happen, Vlad Guerrero Jr. would have to clone himself 24 times. And even then, I don't know. Do you believe the rumors about Randy Orton and AEW? No. I do think that AEW should be looking to bring in an Orton-type level of star. But do I believe the rumors about Orton going to AEW? No. At this point, I see Orton just stepping away from wrestling before I see him going to another company that's not WWE. So yeah, no, I don't. Will AEW become WCW 2.0? In terms of it being competition for the WWE, then maybe. Like I said, depends on how it's presented, it depends on how it's packaged, it depends on how everyone's featured, it depends on the type of TV deal they get, the type of, if they will actually get ratings, if they'll actually draw big crowds. There's still a lot to be determined, and I'm not automatically saying that they're going to fail. Before you guys assume that I'm all negative about them and I've already given up on them before they even started, that's not the case. I just don't want to jump to conclusions right away, like everybody else does. Everybody else sees this uprising company and immediately thinks, oh, they're going to overtake the WWE, or oh, they're going to be better than the WWE, or oh, they might be even worse than the WWE. I'll believe it when I see it. Plain and simple. So, do I think it'll become WCW in terms of it being like running neck and neck with the WWE in terms of, which product is better? Again, maybe. Maybe. Do I see it becoming WCW 2.0 in relation to how bad WCW got? It being a dumb company with a lot of gimmicks and a lot of gimmicks that don't work, and stupid characters and stupid match types and stupid storylines and all that stuff. I don't think it's going to be that bad. But it could be. It could be. Let's just wait and see what happens first. Let them get a TV deal first. For the love of God. If you had to remove one team between the Mets, Yankees, Islanders, and Rangers, who would it be? The Mets? So that way I won't have to be disappointed every year. Oh, God. Do you believe Chyna should be inducted this year into the WWE Hall of Fame? Why not? Why the hell not? If you want to talk about burning bridges with the company and certain individuals in it, there are other performers, other wrestlers, and other people within the industry that have burnt bigger bridges, and they've returned, and they've been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, Chyna can't return because she's no longer with us, but she can at least get the credit that she deserves and the honor and respect that she deserves for being a legit star in the Attitude Era, for being a legit draw in the Attitude Era, and for her role in D-Generation X, and for her role in, being that one person that's not a male wrestler, that one female wrestler that you could actually look at and believe to be a big threat, a big deal. So yes, I think she should go into the Hall of Fame. If it's not this year, it doesn't matter. Because to me, she's going to go in anyway. Just do it this year and get it over with. I think she deserves it. I think fans of hers deserve it. So why not? Do you think WWE should bring back the hardcore title to help with the ratings? No. And the two reasons why I'll say that is, first, how will it really help the ratings? And number two, WWE already has way too many championships. Like, we don't need to add another belt. Even if you wanted to flip the Cruiserweight title into the hardcore title and make 205 Live, change 205 Live into some kind of hardcore show or something like that. Even then, it's just too much. Like, looking at all the belts now, you can take 5 of them away and the WWE would still have too many. You know, it kind of affects, like, you know, it almost feels like because there are too many titles, you know, being a champion doesn't feel as special, if you know what I mean. Because, you know, look at all the belts we have on the main roster. Like, you have 2 world titles, you have 2 mid-card belts, you have the Cruiserweight title, you have 2 tag belts, you have 2 women's belts. You're going to have a women's tag belt. Or women's tag titles. NXT, you have the NXT championship, you have the tag titles, you have the women's title, you have the North American title. For a 1 hour a week show, or 1 hour show every week, I should say, you have 4 titles on there. 4. And then, you know, if you go into NXT UK, they have the NXT UK championship, the women's championship. I'm not sure if there's a tag title or not. I'm pretty sure there is. I don't watch it. I don't really care. But again, just too many championships. Too many titles. So no, I don't think they should bring back the hardcore title. Even if you wanted to rebrand one of the belts you have into a hardcore belt. No. Now, if you wanted to rebrand one of your belts by putting, like, the 24/7 rule along with it, like, attach that to it, then maybe it'll work. But, again, they should just eliminate some of the titles they have already. Should the WWE scrap the brand split? Yeah. I mean, you're already doing co-branded pay-per-views. It really makes no sense to have a brand split at this point. Matthew Mullins, what are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan's WWE title belt? I like it. Works well with the gimmick. No complaints. Will Sasha and Bayley win the women's tag titles? I'm going to say no. I think that they're the obvious choice. So that makes me gravitate a little bit more towards the dark horses. I can see the Iconics winning them. But I don't think Sasha and Bayley will win them. Like, even though we can all clearly see that that's probably the direction that they're going in, the WWE always loves to throw in those last-second curveballs. See WrestleMania 34, we all thought Roman Reigns was going over, and then look what happened. We all assumed that Shinsuke Nakamura, after winning the Royal Rumble, was going to win the title at WrestleMania, and that didn't happen. You know, I'm pretty sure most of us expected Asuka to win the Smackdown tag titles at the Smackdown women's title, excuse me. I have tag titles on my mind. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure we all thought that she would win it there, and she didn't. So, you know, like I said, just because we think we know what could happen doesn't mean it's going to happen. And it doesn't mean that it should happen. So, no, I don't think they win it. I really don't. Maybe down the line if they continue the team, but I don't think they should continue the team. But yeah, no, I don't think they will. Peyton Peoples, could you and would you want to see Elias as WWE champ or Universal champ? I want to, but I really don't think he strikes me as a world champion. He could be a really solid mid-card champion. Like, if you put the IC title on him, I think that would work. I would like to see him have at least a short world title run. Eventually, WWE will screw him up too. Walter Main, do you think the Cubs will win the World Series in the next 5 years? That is a lot more believable than the Blue Jays, but no. I really don't think they do. You have an aging John Lester. You have Anthony Rizzo in a contract year. There's uncertainty if he's staying. You have Javier Baez, who had a breakout year last year, but the type of player he is concerns me. You still have that massive Jason Hayward contract. You still have questions about Yu Darvish. There are a lot of question marks going into this year, and especially going into the next couple of years, because you could be looking at a team that loses their franchise guy to free agency. You could be looking at a team that, you could argue that loses their ace to retirement. Who knows at this point? Who knows? Do I think they win one? No. Do I think they'll still be competitive, and do I still think that they'll make the playoffs? Then yes. But I don't see a World Series title in them. I really don't. Do you think AEW will get a major TV deal? Define major. If you want them, if you think that they're gonna go to, how WWE's going to Fox, if you think they're gonna go to like an NBC or a CBS, they could, maybe. I think what helps them is they have the owner of the Jaguars as their owner. So maybe, with his money and, the interest level, because you have a guy that owns a football team owning your company, maybe that means bigger things. Who knows? Who knows? I hope they get some kind of a good TV deal. But we'll see. Will AEW hurt Impact? Probably, but I mean, can Impact be hurt anymore at this point? What do you think is the worst sport? Curling. Come at me all you want, Canadians. Look at me. I sweep. I mean, so do I around my house. Where's my medal? Whatever. Do you love cricket? No, never really got into it. Football or soccer? If you asked me a year ago, I probably would have said football, but I've been getting into the MLS a lot more, especially over the past couple years, over the past year. Especially being able to see my Red Bulls have a really nice run, winning another supporter shield, and working for another soccer team, NYCFC. I'll probably, and even though my Patriots won the Super Bowl again, I honestly might have to lean towards soccer. I think I'm gonna pick soccer for this, and call me insane, call me crazy, I don't care. What is your favorite sporting event you've attended? That's a great question. Even though this technically isn't a sporting event, since it's a sports entertainment event, but I'll go with WrestleMania 29. The fact that I was able to go to a WrestleMania, even though that WrestleMania turned into one of the worst. Still a big deal for me, still a huge deal for me, still a lot of fun for me. So, I'll pick that. In terms of an actual sport, I went to Mets-Giants game about 5 years ago, where Jake Peavy and Jacob deGrom both had no-hitters. Peavy having a perfect game go into the 7th inning. Obviously, both of them lost their no-hitters, but the Mets won that game in comeback fashion, so there we go. That's one of my favorites. Another one is a year later, went to see Mets-Dodgers, and that was right around the time that the Mets were making the trades to get guys like Uribe and guys like Kelly Johnson and guys like Cespedes eventually. I got to see that big Juan Uribe walk-off single. Even though it was a hot day that day, it was at least 100 degrees, high humidity, and we were in the sun the whole game. But I had a blast because, it was a great pitching matchup. It was DeGrom and DeGrom and Greinke. So I got to see that, and then I got to see the Mets win in a walk-off, which I think I've before that I only saw once happen. I only saw once live. So yeah, there you go. There's a couple of my favorites there. But I'll probably go with WrestleMania 29. Do Miz and John Cena hate each other because they're polar opposites? Miz being must see and Cena saying you can't see me. I guess. It makes sense. Why don't more people enjoy lacrosse? It's a great question. And I'm not even trolling. That is a really good question. I've watched some clips of lacrosse games and, walking around campus when I was back at school and, being able to watch the lacrosse team practice and occasionally play a game. I actually had a lot of fun watching them, and I actually had some fun looking at some lacrosse highlights, and I saw some really good fast-paced action, and everyone seemed to be having a great time. I don't know why more people don't like lacrosse. If you don't like any of the other 4 major sports and you want to get into sports, why don't you start with one that's not really as popular? I kind of compare it in a way to like a sports fan when an expansion team comes in. Let's say you're not a hockey fan. And then in 2017, you say, I'm going to become a hockey fan. Who should I root for? I would say the Vegas Golden Knights. Because you're rooting for the new team. It's not like you're jumping a bandwagon because everybody expects them to be crap. But they've gained another fan. And, you root for a hockey team. What's the problem with that? So that's what I compare it to. So yeah, I could see more people I would want to see more people get into that. I actually like lacrosse. I don't hate it. And finally, do you see Kevin Owens getting back to the top of the card? I'm sure he will. Especially if Rollins wins the title at Mania, and then Rollins stays on Raw, and let's say Kevin Owens also stays on Raw, he'd be a pretty good first opponent for him. I know we've seen Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens before plenty of times. Too many damn times. But you need to build up opponents too. You can't just build up the champion. You need to build up credible opponents to face him. Not just pick some random guy out of a hat and throw him out there. See Jinder Mahal. There you go. Thank you all for submitting questions for this Q&A. I'll be back once again next Friday. Every Friday from here on going forward. I apologize that this is posted or is going to be posted on Saturday. Had a wake and was out all day. Could not record it. Could not upload it. Sorry. But for the time being, every Friday, next week, there will be a themed Q&A. We're a couple days away from the Elimination Chamber. I figured why not do an Elimination Chamber themed Q&A. So Wednesday or Thursday, expect that post asking for your questions, and I expect to see some good questions. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.